I filmed this video over a year ago, but I'm reposting it by popular demand.
You guys have been wanting to see me tear down a Kymco engine. Let's take one apart and have a look. We're going straight for a big one today. The Kymco AK 550. A twin-cylinder scooter engine. These small bearings here are TPI bearings from Taiwan. The transmission system is located on the right side of the engine. Usually, single-cylinder scooter transmissions are on the left. The Yamaha TMAX I worked on last time had the same layout. After removing the transmission system, let's check out the variator first. It uses a Japanese Fuji component. Now, let's look at this belt. The belt is from Mitsuboshi, Japan. High quality stuff. As far as I know, Kymco doesn't skimp on their engine components. The first Kymco I rode was the Agility 110. That bike left a very good impression on me. Agile and quick acceleration. I almost bought one back then. Now that the transmission is out, let's look at the structure. Look over here. This section here is the clutch gearbox, which can be detached. And this side is the crankcase. This engine feels very modular. It can be taken apart piece by piece. You'll see what I mean as we continue. Removing the clutch now. Roughly, it uses a wet multi-plate clutch. Similar to those in manual motorcycles. It is very similar to the Yamaha TMAX clutch. The working principle is identical. Let me take it out to show you. There are clutch plates inside. So for the engine oil, you use the same type as manual bikes. Alright, remove these few bolts. Then remove the bolts on this side. The clutch gearbox can then be pulled down. Check out how interesting this is. Nothing much inside here. Once the clutch is removed, you see the transmission gears. Now the engine can go onto my assembly stand. It's much more convenient to dismantle it this way. This engine produces a maximum of 53 horsepower. Maximum torque is 52 Newton meters. I've heard the AK 550 also comes with premium features, like heated grips, traction control, electronic throttle, electric windshield. It has everything. Look at the camshaft bridge. No significant wear, just normal signs of use. The camshaft shows no wear either. This camshaft is made of forged alloy steel. Excellent quality on the camshaft. Look at the parting line here. Based on this, it's definitely forged alloy steel. There are no twin-cylinder scooters from mainland brands yet. So, domestic twin-cylinder options are just Kymco and SYM. I don't know much about SYM. After all, I didn't used to work on scooters. I only started making scooter content since last year. But I've noticed that scooter content gets a lot of traffic. Let's look at the piston. There are impact marks on the piston crown. That means the bearings have seized, spun a bearing. The cylinder is a ceramic-plated cylinder. The material quality is solid. The piston also looks like a forged piston at first glance. We'll examine it closely later. Not many scooters are willing to use forged pistons. One is Yamaha, and the other is Kymco. Of course, I'm not sure about SYM. I haven't torn one of those apart yet. Isn't it strange? This AK 550 engine. QJMotor has it too. QJMotor side claims it was co-developed with Kymco. But Kymco already had the finished product. So, this co-development. Who can give me a perfect explanation? Let's look at this ceramic plated cylinder. Look, even though the bearing's seized, there is zero wear on the cylinder walls. The crosshatch pattern is clearly visible. The surface is still shiny. Now look at the bearing shells. The bearings have been ground into debris. They've ended up everywhere. The main issue with this engine was low oil. The owner didn't notice it. Low oil pressure led to this. That's the problem. Look at the piston. The piston is shredded, but the cylinder is fine. So, you tell me, are ceramic cylinders good or not? Now for the oil cooler. Right, look at this. This is the QJMotor 550 engine. This part is identical to the Kymco. Is it just a coincidence? Alright, we've stripped it this far. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. Look again, this is indeed a forged piston. They really used high-end parts for this bike. The piston rings are from Riken. It's a bit hard to see clearly. This piston will definitely need to be replaced. The wear marks are way too obvious. Removing the magneto now. Let's look at the timing chain. Look closely. It uses a BorgWarner chain. The oil pump is also chain-driven. That's all the peripherals removed. Next, we can split the crankcase. Once the cases are split, we can see the internal structure. Forget the structure for a second. Look at the metal shavings inside. These bearing shells look like copper-based bearings. And they're imported. I barely need to check. They are copper-based bearings from Daido, Japan. Let's check the logo. Yep, I was right. The bearing damage is really severe. Let's look at the internal design. It's a 270-degree crankshaft, equipped with dual balancer shafts. This is different from the Yamaha TMAX. The TMAX is a 360-degree synchronous engine. This is a 270-degree asynchronous engine. With the help of dual balancer shafts, this engine has very low vibration. Look at all these fragments. Let's collect them. Now a side view of the crank and balancers. A balancer shaft on each side. Remove the dual balancers. And only the crankshaft is left. Removing the connecting rods to check the bearings. The rod bearings used are also Daido copper-based bearings. Look, this rod is toasted. The color has changed. Burnt pitch black. It might have friction welded itself. The bearing and rod are stuck together and won't come off. Look at the extent of the damage. So, if you guys go on long trips, you must remember to check your oil level. Oil consumption is much faster during long-distance rides. In this state, the crankshaft is also junk. Seized bearings usually cause the crank to warp. Let me measure it for you. Oh wait, take a look at the crank journal first. Obvious scoring and damage. Let's use a dial indicator to check the runout. Minimum is 2, maximum is 11. Note, using simplified scale from video, the deformation is significant. Alright, that's the teardown finished. Summary: seized bearings caused by insufficient oil. So please, keep an eye on your oil level. The build quality of this engine is actually quite good. Reminding long-distance riders once more. Check your oil regularly, because oil consumption accelerates on long trips. What do you all think about the future of twin-cylinder scooters? This video also contains some minor insider leaks. Today, while assembling this Kymco AK 550, I'll chat with you guys about this topic. I posted a video of this AK 550 in pieces last year. It features a 270-degree crankshaft, paired with dual balancer shafts. By the way, here's a little scoop for you. QJMotor's twin-cylinder scooter is about to hit the supply chain. And the twin-cylinder scooters from QJMotor and Loncin are also currently in development. Both of these brands have displacements around 400 cubic centimeters. I've been riding a TMAX 560 lately, and I have to say, it's truly addictive. That's why I'm really looking forward to the performance of domestic twin-cylinder scooters. Honestly, ever since I got on the TMAX 560, I finally experienced what real scooter handling feels like. After one lap, other scooters just don't feel the same anymore. Unfortunately, there are almost no test ride bikes for the TMAX. This bike is definitely worth experiencing. As for this AK 550, I haven't actually ridden it. I've only repaired it. From what I see, the market share for twin-cylinder scooters isn't high. The main reason is likely the high price. But if the price comes down, would you buy it specifically for that twin-cylinder engine? Twin-cylinder scooters offer better fun factor, but their practical household attributes, like storage capacity and chassis structure, are inevitably less user-friendly. The technical difficulty of a twin-cylinder is also higher. Take the wet clutch system, for example. In this Kymco AK 550, the wet clutch is essentially a copy of Yamaha's. Then there's the SYM twin-cylinder scooter. Its engine is also modeled after the Yamaha TMAX. Oh right, there's one more brand with a twin-cylinder scooter engine. Shenyang QJMotor. It was exhibited at the Chongqing Motor Expo last year. Whenever you ask, they say it was co-developed with Kymco. But I have a question. Hasn't the AK 550 been out for a long time already? Look, this engine is identical to the Kymco one. Anyone who saw my previous videos could probably tell. This was filmed at last year's expo. I wonder when QJMotor will launch the complete bike. As for the CFMOTO twin-cylinder scooter, I actually don't know what it looks like yet. They're all keeping secrets from me now. Maybe they know I can't keep my mouth shut. Look at me, I don't even like leaking info anymore. No need to be so guarded around me. Don't you all agree? Regarding Loncin's twin-cylinder scooter, I've only seen a few parts. We'll talk about that later. My mindset lately has basically shifted towards scooters. So, I'm definitely keeping a close eye on twin-cylinder models. You have to realize, something like the TMAX 560 has a full suite of electronics and electronic throttle. If you add cruise control to your commute, just think about it. CVT plus electronic throttle and cruise control. It's an incredibly pleasant ride. I use cruise control on my 800 metric tons too. But when you accelerate from low speed, you have to shift gears. The moment you shift, cruise control deactivates. But a CVT doesn't need shifting. That's why I'm really excited for domestic twin-cylinder scooters. This electronic throttle Just feels more suitable for a scooter. Applying some black assembly paste here, commonly known as molybdenum disulfide, $mos_$2. How does the saying go? A rider's ultimate destination is a scooter. If it's a small displacement scooter, then you've officially retired. So, let me ask you all. What is your attitude toward these? More exciting twin-cylinder scooters? What do you think? Alright, assembly is finished here. I've also asked the owner for a startup video. I've been holding on to this footage for a year, and now it's finally out for you. Alright, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks, everyone.